welcome to This Is. Tim Cook, he might have made a couple mistakes along the way, but this ain't one of them.
Wait, no, it's the opposite, Matt.
No.
You're setting me up for the opposite joke.
No.
This was his biggest mistake.
No. Mistake. His biggest mistake. Hello and welcome to This Is. Austin's got something stupid to talk about today.
What? It is not stupid. Okay, so here's the thing. Matt and I, we were part of an elite club for a whole 373 days. Yes, my friends, we were mini boys.
I don't know if anyone in the history of anything would ever classify me as a mini boy.
Cast your mind back to the wonderful world of 2020. There was world peace. Everything was great. Most importantly, Apple brought out the iPhone 12 mini. Quite possibly the greatest device crafted by Timmy Cook's giant hands. The iPhone mini was, by all accounts, the greatest iPhone of all time. However, while Matt and I spent a glorious year each using the iPhone 12 mini as our primary devices, unfortunately, our time was cut short. There was the iPhone 13 Pro, which was quite a good phone that we both switched over to. And now, of course, we're on the iPhone 14, and it's all fine and great. But you know what, Matt? Almost exactly a week ago, to this very moment, I went to the Apple store. I bought an iPhone 13 mini.
I want to expose Austin Evans here, okay? Austin posted this on Twitter, like, oh, guys, please try and talk me out of buying this. Listen here, baby birds. He had already bought it at that
No,
point.
it's actually not true. No. Here's the thing, right? I was thinking about the iPhone for a couple days. So then I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of want an iPhone. Let me just tweet it, ha ha ha. And I got literal hundreds of people telling me to do it. So about 3 hours later, I went to the Apple store and bought a green iPhone 13 mini.
I will say it's a really nice color.
It's a good color,
It's a
right?
nice color.
So there are a few reasons why I have downgraded from an iPhone 14 Pro to the iPhone 13 mini. Now, just to be clear, I'm also still using Z Flip, of course. For the last 3-4 years, I've carried both a Z Flip and an iPhone of some variety. And the happiest I ever was with the Z Flip and the iPhone 12 mini. And I basically recreated this setup. Now, Matt, as a fellow mini connoisseur,
I don't know where you're getting this. I've literally never used an iPhone a day in my life. The only mini that I use is... I use the Palm phone if I want a mini phone. I don't know why you're trying to rope me in, all right? I'm not some iSheep who's just using whatever phone Twitter tells me to get.
I regret telling Matt what I wanted to talk about today because he was clearly prepared. Okay, but look, with a wide variety of different little baby phones, let's actually talk about this because this iPhone 13 mini specifically is one of the...
You're not doing great right now.
...best devices that I've ever tried. This is the very last mini phone that Apple have created. They made the 12 mini, they made the 13 mini, but for the iPhone 14, they replaced the mini with the iPhone 14 Plus, which is basically just a big version of the iPhone. It doesn't make sense because you might as well just get the Pro or the Pro Max because it's not that much cheaper and it's just a significantly worse phone. But using the mini has been like a breath of fresh air. Have you ever gone to your dryer, opened it up, and you got a couple of dryer sheets in there, and you get that first whiff of that warm dryer air?
Rich boy over here has a dryer. I live in an apartment complex. I have a communal dryer.
Does it smell like butt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Well,
yeah.
Imagine if it smelled lovely, and you just go like, ah. That's what it's like to switch to the iPhone mini.
Look, I agree with you. That was the best phone experience I've had in a very, very long time. And I'm not even going to argue that about like, oh, you downgraded, because let's face it, you get like, it's not that much different.
My main concerns with the iPhone 12 mini were with battery life and with camera quality. Those were my main two issues, right? And I will say, while it's obviously a little bit different compared to the 14 Pro I was coming from, this is actually a pretty significant step forward on both sides.
This is where I have to just like hard disagree, because I never once had a problem with battery when I did my 12 mini. I am a power user. I play a lot of mobile games. I would end up charging it throughout the day, but I never felt like I had to. It was just integrated in my lifestyle of just like, oh, I'm driving home, it's plugged in or whatever. I'm at my desk, I just got on a charger. Like,
so for regular day-to-day use, I agree, because I also, like, when I'm driving to work, I always have my phone plugged in, right? But here's the thing. The iPhone 12 mini didn't hold up well on like a long travel day and whatnot. Like, you pretty much always had to hit the battery bank if you were really hitting it hard. With the 13, while it is not as good as something like the iPhone 14 Pro or whatever the nonsense, it is actually a good step forward. Yes, this is a little bit of a downgrade, but it's a small enough downgrade that it doesn't bother me. Same thing with the camera. So the 13 mini actually has a significantly better camera than the 12 mini did. Again, maybe not quite as good.
Yeah, but like when you actually look at the photos though, it's not like, if you're pixel peeping, sure, but like most people don't. For example, every thumbnail that was on This Is for the year of 2020 was shot on a 12 mini. I make all of our thumbnails using an iPhone and it was fine. If they had put a pro features in the mini form factor, I would have been all over that. I've talked about this in numerous, pretty much every chance we get. I'm at a point where I don't care about specs of a device. I want to know, how does it feel in my hand? How does it feel to use? And the mini was the best feeling phone I've used in,
absolutely,
I mean, probably since smartphones started.
Look, I can put it in one hand easily. So
and he's got tiny little hands. They're smaller than Phil Spencer's.
How dare you? For full transparency, I am 1 week into the iPhone 13 mini. However, I have a year of using the iPhone 12 mini, so I'm very used to this form factor. There's good and bad. Do you want to hear the good first or the bad first?
I want to hear, let me hear what's good about this.
Okay, the size is incredible. So I'm a back pocket phone boy. So this goes in my back left pocket.
Trust that. I would never trust that.
I sit on this phone. I've sat on every phone ever.
I don't know if you know this. I'm a pound or two heavier than you, so I wouldn't trust that myself. But
well, for me, no problem. I sit on this phone all day long, as I have with pretty much every other phone I've used for many years, right? The fact that this phone easily fits in my back pocket or front pocket or whatever, it fits so well, I don't have to think about it, is a big deal. If I've got a larger phone in the pocket, I'm always taking it out and tossing it on the table. But the mini, I don't have to do that. Another thing that's nice is just how easy it is. It is so convenient to be able to one-hand type. It is so convenient to be able to use one thumb and swipe from the top of the screen. It's the right size of a phone. Honestly, I really believe that. In fact, so much so that even though the Z Flip is obviously a smaller device when it's folded, when you unfold this thing, it's actually so much bigger that I've immediately been like, oh, this is my big phone, this is my little phone.
I've been telling you that for the entire time that you haven't shut up about the Z Flip. All right, Z Flip is double the thickness.
Not true.
When it's folded. Are you kidding me? Double, right there. Double.
But you know what they say about thickness? Sometimes thickness is goodness, Matt.
Yeah, me.
The iPhone 13 mini is the perfect size. Between being able to easily fit in my back pocket, it feels so much better to use a phone which is actually designed for human hands. Now, yes, I get it that it's a smaller screen, and some people are going to be all grumpy because they want their 6.9-inch chungus and they want to be able to watch video in 21:9 and blah, blah, blah. If I have to deal with a slightly smaller screen size for video in exchange for a phone that's actually designed for hands, I am so okay with that compromise. Can I hit you on some more reasons why this phone's great?
Yeah, why?
Guess how much this cost me?
How much did this cost you? This year-old smartphone?
Let me look up the receipt, actually.
Oh my God.
I purchased this iPhone 13 mini. Mind you, I got a 128 because I don't need a ton of storage, including tax and including my screen protector. It was $702.
I don't think that's great.
It's not amazing, but it's pretty, dude. For the best version of the iPhone, for $600, it feels snappy and responsive.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I do notice the lack of 120 hertz. This is now the only device in my life that is not running at least 120 hertz. I will not say it feels slow in any way, but you do notice, some of the animations aren't quite as smooth. I don't think it's anywhere close to a deal breaker, and especially the smaller screen helps to hide it a little bit. Mind you, again, I do slightly miss some of the stuff from the iPhone 14, specifically with the cameras, which I think are a notch above. And obviously it's got the big notch. If you can get around those, I would say relatively minor to moderate sort of downsides, what you get in return for a much cheaper price, but even just ignoring the price, the size is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And another part of it is we're 6 months in roughly to the iPhone 14 Pro. There's very likely going to be a pretty major upgrade on the iPhone 15. They're gonna have capacitive buttons. It's probably gonna have a periscope camera. Like, it's clear that the iPhone is about to take a pretty big leap at the end of this year.
I'm not excited for that.
No, but here's the thing though. You know that both of us are gonna end up having to get one.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about it in videos, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're excited about it.
No, but here's the thing. This is my last opportunity to use an iPhone mini. Once these new devices come out, I'm gonna have to switch over to them. I'm gonna have to use them. And I'm sure they'll be great. And I'm sure they'll be wonderful. But I look at this. They're not making any more minis. This is still available, brand new. It's not wildly out of date. And I'm gonna try to experience a blissful 6 months of using the best iPhone that Apple's ever made. I am telling you right now, Apple made a mistake when they canceled the mini. They canceled the mini to bring out the Plus, and the Plus was dumb.
I have a brighter future.
Okay.
I don't think it's the last time we're ever seeing the mini. I know that they didn't sell that great, which is why they canceled it.
Correct.
But a lot of the trade-offs people saw on paper were why they didn't buy it. And again, I say on paper because every person I know who actually held a mini, who actually used a mini said, I love this thing.
Yes.
And most people just didn't do that. Most people buy their phones online and they just order them. I think we will start to see some of these phones get smaller and smaller and smaller again in the near future. In the past couple of years, we've had some pretty big advancements in batteries.
Yeah.
So batteries can get a much longer life while being physically smaller. The components themselves can get smaller, more precise, and we don't have to have the massive trade-offs like we did previously. Part of the reason the phone is that size is because when we talk about the 15, it's going to have a periscoping camera. How do you physically fit something like that?
Put it on the Pro Max, baby!
As soon as we can start getting some of these components a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, I think we have this coming back.
I will say, my gut is that the iPhone mini is dead and not coming back. The only shot I could see that the mini form factor could properly come back is that they maybe reuse this sort of chassis for a new iPhone SE.
Yeah.
I would be so happy with that. The problem though is that the iPhone mini didn't sell well enough. And I'm sure Apple looked at it and go, you know what? This is not the move. But I would like to think that now that they've switched over and they replaced the mini with the iPhone Plus, which obviously is the complete opposite direction. It's way bigger for the standard iPhone. Maybe they'll rethink it.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll realize like, we don't need 17 versions of the big phone. Maybe we'll at least make one good small option.
I'm curious if you're in the comments, if you bought a Plus, let me know, because I've literally never seen one in the wild.
Never seen one. Not one, which is a wild thing to say about a new iPhone.
Right.
Another reason why I think the iPhone mini was a good deal, because it was $100 less than the standard iPhone 13 or 12 or whatever. The iPhone Plus is $100 more than the regular iPhone, which basically means it's almost within sort of spitting distance of the iPhone 14 Pro, and even go up another $100 to the Pro Max. And those phones are so much better that it makes zero sense, right? So I think part of the reason the mini should come back is to have a slightly more budget price device. But also, I think it makes sense because this phone, this size is so good that I have happily traded in a newer, more powerful in every objective way short of the size device, purely because I love this size so much. I'm not gonna lie. When I bought the phone, I took it home, I started transferring stuff over, there was a moment of hesitation. I'm like, am I completely crazy?
Yes,
Should I have not listened to Twitter? And you know what? I have not had the slightest shadow of a doubt that I made the right decision.
Again,
not even one bit.
I'm going to reiterate what I've been saying forever. These phones are so good that you're talking fractions of a second faster in swiping over, like 0.0000001 second faster, whatever. You don't feel these massive differences. And that's why, like, people need to stop looking at specs on a sheet and thinking that is what makes a good phone. Because it's not. It's how does it feel to use?
Take like an ROG phone, which is a great phone and certainly for a good market.
Awesome spec-wise.
But the thing is, those phones are huge and chunky. And for me, that is an instant deal breaker that it's not something I want to carry with me every day. I have my lifestyle, my routine, which revolves around a phone that can easily live in my pocket. And the thing is, I already love the iPhone 12 mini, right? So I really went into this with those fond memories of that device. And while I skipped the 13 mini when it came out, because I looked at the iPhone 13 Pro at the time, which was the iPhone I was using, and I was like, you know what, this thing is so much better. The ultra wide's better. It's got 120 hertz, yada yada yada. I think the iPhone 13 Pro is still probably the best overall phone that Apple ever made. But now that I've come back to the mini and really appreciated what they did, this is a much bigger jump than I think a lot of people gave it credit for back when it came out. I'm gonna send this to you, Jeff. If you're thinking about doing the mini, if you've even been tempted, now is the time. These phones are still going to be supported for a long time. They've still got terrific specs. But if you want to buy yourself an iPhone mini, this is your last shot. The train's leaving the station. You can enjoy your correct sized phone for
I
many years
don't
in the
disagree
future.
with you, but again, asterisk. Buy a used one. Don't do what Dum Dum did over here and take a Twitter poll and go and buy a brand new one in the store. I would try and find a used one of these.
I would do a 13 though. The 13 is a major upgrade over the 12. Like I'm surprised at how much better it is.
Look, again, you're saying major. I think for a lot of people, the major upgrade is not going to be noticed by a lot of people.
Here's the difference.
Especially if you're resigned to getting a couple-year-old smartphone. Yes, I agree. The 13 is better than the 12.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can get way cheaper of a 12 mini.
Here's the problem though with the 12 mini. The battery life wasn't great when that thing first came out. Give it 2 years on the battery. I bet that the iPhone 12 mini, most of the used ones that you can buy today, are bordering on not okay anymore as far as battery performance. Whereas the 13 already has a significantly better battery life. And it's a less old phone. So I would say personally that the 13 is probably worth the upgrade. Mind you, I'm saying that without knowing the exact price difference.
Yeah.
But like this phone is so good.
Let me check that with my.
It's gonna take you an hour to try to look something up on the Palm phone.
13 mini.
Yeah.
Renewed 470. That's enough.
I think I'd pay the difference.
I don't think. No.
I'd pay $150 more.
Let us know in the comments whether you would pay the difference for a 12, 13. Whether you're gonna say shut up and just buy
a OnePlus.
Palm. Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Buy an iPhone mini before it's too late!